Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi, Batra, and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand all the latest cues from the day street, be the benchmark moves, also the sectoral indices and the stocks that have been buzzing the most in trade. We'll also get you expert take as to how should you be approaching the stock markets now and what should be your investment strategy and the stocks and the sectors that you should bet on now for maximum profits. We'll look at all of that, but first up, a quick check on how the markets are doing at this point in time. Well, the Nifty and the Sensex are hovering in the green space right now, comfortably so, about 0.2% higher, 17,081 currently for the Nifty 50, about 35 points up in trade. Sensex hovering near 58,000 mark, slightly below it, 86 points up for that one as well, 57,990, the level at which the Sensex moving up as well. Let's look at the other indices, including the broader markets, to see whether there's a broad-based performance that you're looking at. Yes, the broader markets are supporting, especially the small caps that are leading the way with over a percent move today. Definitely bucking the trend. 0.75% of an uptick for the mid-cap 100 index as well. The India VIX is slightly down 3.8% at 15.5. So that's not a worry sign as of now. And the market breadth also favoring the advances with 35 stocks in the green, as opposed to 15 stocks that are declining on the Nifty 50 pack. In terms of sectors also, barring the FMCG pack that's down by half odd percent, rest all of the sectors are actually up in the trade, led by gains in the metals pack today. That's the one that is shining brightest. Apart from this, slight gains can actually be seen on the pharma pack, that's up by 0.6% or so. The rest of the indices are actually just about 0.25% higher to 0.3% higher in trade as well. In terms of the top gainers today, you do have stocks like Asian Paints that are up by 3.5% or so. Tata Steel, Adani Ports is back up again. Some of the stocks are actually trading in higher in the Adani pack. L&T, Kotak Mahindra Bank also 1.5% up in trade. On the losing pack, you do have the FMCG names that are dragging. Nestle, for example, HUL, Britannia. These are the three big heavyweight names from the FMCG pack that are down by about 1% today. Bharti Airtel and SBI Life, the other laggards also. Time now to welcome our guest for the day. We are joined by Mr. Rajesh Palviya from Axis Securities. He's the head of technical research there. Welcome, Mr. Palviya, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Well, the stock markets have been very, very volatile over the last week and this week also so far. What is your thought process? Until yesterday, we were looking at how much more downside can the SVB crisis really cause to the Indian markets. We are looking at some stability right here, but is it sustainable or not is the big question. How is your outlook on the markets right now?
Good afternoon, Sakshi. Yes, market is volatile. Again, from the higher level, again, in the today's session also, we have witnessed the supply pressure. So overall, if we analyze both the indices are still having short built up, and clearly shorts are there in the today's session also. Some more addition we have witnessed in the today's pullback also. So most of the call writers are aggressive at 17,200, 17,300 strike. So until Nifty not crosses above 17,300, there won't be any significant short covering action we will be having in the market. On the other hand, if we breaks below 17,000, then possibly Nifty can go down further towards 16,850, 16,800 level also. So overall structure for Nifty is still weak, and whatever pullback we are getting, that is meeting to the supply pressure on the higher side. So sell on price should be the strategy for Nifty trader at this moment. Yes, market is in oversold zone. So if you get any chance near to 17,180, 17,200 zone, it's a shorting opportunity. Keep your stop loss of 17,240, 250 zone to go short in the pullback. And again, you can cover your short position around 17,000, 17,020 mark. So these are the important levels. So as of now, we are looking at 17,000 to 17,250 kind of range for some more time. Either side breakout or breakdown on the closing basis will decide the further direction. But overall scenario is on the bearish side. So sell on rise should be the strategy at this moment.
Okay, sell on rise should be the strategy for the traders at this point in time, as the structure still looks weak for the markets right now. But any pockets that you are bullish on amid this volatility, where you believe that despite all this, move that we've been seeing and the uncertainty due to the global market moves as well, there are some pockets that could relatively outperform the others at this point?
So capital goods is one sector where one can look at this moment, and most of the stocks after the correction again, trying to get some, buying action at the lower level. and most of the stocks are showing good accumulation activity from this capital goods space. So we believe that L&T can be one stock where one can focus at this juncture, and we expect that L&T can continue its upward momentum, and overall long-term structure is positive for the stock. This correction is a opportunity to buy the stock and accumulate. One can buy L&T for upside target of 2250 to 2300 on the higher side, and one can keep the stop loss at 2140. Another sector which we like, that is oil and gas sector, can be looked at the current level. So from that space, we believe that Petronet LNG is the one stock where one can focus, because overall structure for Petronet LNG on the short to medium term is looking positive, and stock managed to give breakout on of its multiple resistance zones. So Petronet can be another stock where one can buy this stock for upside target of 250, keep stop loss of 230. So these two sectors are showing some bit of buying interest. Rest other sectors are again in volatile nature. There is no sustained buying in other sectors. So these two sectors we prefer at the current juncture.
Sure, understood that. But what about the banking space? I wanted to take as well, especially after the Silicon Valley Bank crisis. There has been worry that what could the impact be on worldwide in the banking and the financial sector. So far, most of the experts believe we do not have any direct or indirect exposure to Silicon Valley Bank. So the Indian banking story is largely protected. But your take, because we did see a knee-jerk reaction on the banking space as well of that crisis, could that escalate, and what would your take be on the entire space?
Yeah, definitely. We are not going to have much impact on our banking system based on this Silicon Valley Bank. But yes, the banking sector itself is a very sensitive sector. So this kind of news flow, this kind of the event always give negative sentiment to all this sector. Still, most of the banks are struggling to recover from their recent low, be it private or PSU. All the banking stocks are witnessing continuous supply pressure since last couple of weeks, and most of the bank have broken down their important support area, or they are now trading below their near-term, short-term moving averages, which is also adding up the bearishness. So overall structure is at this moment is weak on the banking space. So until we don't see any major or long and short unwinding trade on the major large cap bank, most of the bank are going to remain in the range, and whatever pullback we are going to witness in the near term also will meet to the supply on the higher side. So if we discuss the bank nifty also, so 40,000 is the clear resistance zone as of now for the bank nifty. Even in today's session also, we almost move to those level, and again we have witnessed the supply from those level. So until bank nifty is trading below 40,000 level, it clearly shows that banking stocks are going to witness supply pressure for any pullback action. So still we believe that this SBI, ICICI Bank, Kotak Bank, all IndusInd Bank, these all banks are trading below to their important support area. So which is also adding up the furthermore bearishness on the banking space. So we believe that this bearishness is likely to continue. So again, in the bank nifty also, our view is sell on rise until bank nifty not process above 40,200. Even on the downside, if it breaks below 39,400, then possibly it can go further down towards 38,800 also.
Okay, understood that. Well, from the banking space, let's actually now focus on the construction space as well. We've seen that the national highway construction until February of 2023 has actually surpassed the levels that were achieved in the same fiscal last year. Now, if you talk about what kind of construction activity is really taking place and what do we expect going forward from here, let me go across to my colleague Chetan Bhutani to understand, who's been tracking all the updates right here. Chetan, it looks like good news where more roads and highways are getting created for users and at a faster pace. What are the details that we know so far on this, and what has really aided this faster construction?
Well, Sakshi, absolutely. 2023 looks to be a good year for highway construction. In fact, 8,064 kilometers of national highways have been constructed in fiscal 2022-2023, compared with 8,045, which is 8,045 kilometers in comparable months of the previous fiscal. However, It's a marginal hike, but yes, the government has, of course, surpassed its previous numbers. The year is good because construction of national highways prior to January 2023 have been lesser for the entire year. So, in fact, from January itself, the momentum actually kick-started. Probably, if I could highlight some internal probe that the Minister of Road Transport and Highways did, and why could it not probably stretch the entire national highways till January, was the fact that monsoons, delays in financial closure, winters are some of the reasons where highway construction slows down in various
Yeah.
parts of the countries. But if the momentum continues, India's road construction could, of course, break previous records, and the momentum could be, in fact, good for the nation as well.
Okay, we will continue to look at that as well, and whether we will be definitely breaking the previous records on that front. Mr. Palvi, I'll ask you to come in on this. We've been looking at the government's focus on infrastructure, and now we're getting to see how the construction of national highways is actually picking up pace faster than before as well. How are you looking at this entire construction space from an investment point of view? For the investors looking at the kind of focus that there is from the government side, should one bet on this space?
So definitely, but yes, for investment point of view, yes, one can look at this space, and we believe that this space is going to deliver because a lot of focus from the government on this space, and we believe that the stocks which are linked to this sector are going to get benefit of all this activity. So from that space, we believe that NCC can be one stock where one can focus, and we believe that this stock is showing good traction since last couple of weeks. And looking at the overall structure, we believe that NCC can be a stock where one can have a long position, and upside target we are projecting around 120, 130 in the short period of time, and one can keep stop loss of 90. So overall structure NCC is looking attractive. Even one can focus on LNT as we have already discussed. So one can
Sure.
focus on LNT also.
All right, from the construction basket, you do have some specific picks also from Mr. Valvia, and especially L&T, which has been one of the top picks of the day for from the construction basket again. So this space definitely looks attractive at this point in time from the investors' point of view as well. But let's also move on. After the hottest ever February that we witnessed, the IMD now expects an unusually hot summer this year. Chetan, who's has been tracking all of these updates as well. Let me go across to him once again. Chetan, what are the kind of temperatures that are likely going forward? Help me understand what is the IMD really saying on this, and what preparations perhaps is the government really making to protect any kind of impact on the crop output that has been feared because of the heat wave as well.
Well, Sakshi, you correctly pointed out that we in fact witnessed the hottest February in like long years, and of course March is also no less from the usual days. Well, the IMD has also in fact raised multiple warnings and issued multiple directions and warnings. From March to May, there will be longer heat wave than expected, with temperatures rising above 3 to 5 degrees Celsius above normal. In fact, when I spoke to various vegetable farmers associations, and of course when I went on the ground, they are not very troubled with the heat wave as of now, because the water table, which aids in crop growing, and of course so the supply side is also being very strong. The vegetable growers are not very troubled. The inflationary pressures for the consumers are also under control, because the prices of vegetables, except for onions, for some parts of the country are under control. Some crops in Maharashtra are likely to be impacted due to, of course, unseasonal rainfalls. In fact, Prime Minister Modi a few weeks back also conducted a high-level meeting with the officials of IMD, government officials, and healthcare professionals to manage the heat wave properly, and so that the Aam Aadmi, in fact, doesn't get affected much with the heat wave. So clearly, the government is doing its bit, and of course, the vegetable farmers are not really impacted as of now. But yes, the story could probably move on, and we could see some troubles getting for the vegetable farmers as the heat wave intensifies.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Chetan, for sharing with all our viewers all these insights as well. Definitely a space that is worth keeping an eye out on, especially keeping in mind that the heat wave not not only is directly impacting the consumers, but the indirect impact could also push further inflation, which has already been a big problem for all the consumers out there as well. Mr. Palvia, your thoughts on how this early summer, the heat wave, all of this should be looked at fact, from an investment point of view, we've been looking at the summer theme for quite some time, from the time we did see soaring temperatures in February. Do these stocks from this basket also interest you at this point in time? Are people going to be benefited from the basket created from some of the stocks that are summer-related stocks, be it the AC makers, the fan makers, or any of the cola makers, or anything that interests you from this basket?
So definitely this heat wave is going to give impact on the agri sector. But yes, yes, we can see this stocks which are linked to this summer related products, like, so one can look at Voltas after a corrective action. The stock is available near to its important support area, because we have witnessed a good amount of buying interest in last couple of week in Voltas. So one can look at this Voltas. It's available near to 875. So it's a good buy at the current juncture. Stock is already corrected from its previous high. So 850, 840 is the support area for the stock. So one can keep stop loss around those levels. And again, once the stock crosses about 900, 920 zone, then possibly stock can scale up further higher. Another stock which we like, that is Whirlpool, is also another stock. Since last 2-3 weeks, we are seeing that some buying action is happening in this stock. So we advise to buy Whirlpool also to play this theme, and one can keep stop loss of 1310. Upside target we are projecting around 1440, 1450.
All right, understood that. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Palvia, for being with us on the show and discussing these various pockets and the opportunities that investors can look at from both the positive and the negative. Your investments and your portfolios and your capital should be protected, and that is the aim with which we deliver all the information to all of our viewers as well. Let's look at how the markets are really trading at this point in time. About 160 points up for the Sensex, currently 58,059, 17,100 again. So the markets are inching up higher, but the bigger question is, will they be able to sustain the momentum that they are building on? So for that, we will keep an eye out on over the next 2.5 hours of trade to see how the global markets, especially the US futures and the European markets, also react to the overall developments in the financial space outside, to really give us some more cues as to how the markets will proceed from here too. And with that, we wrap up this edition, but do stay tuned on with us on Business Today TV. Don't forget to subscribe to this platform, and also you can continue to engage with us on our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram. Until then, many thanks for tuning in.